Welcome back for another Green Box Politics classic episode. This evening, what we would do is look into a story that is developing right now in metro Atlanta, Georgia, where it appears that a woman was held against her will, and through this process, she was starved to death, she was beaten, and eventually, upon her death, she was put into a trunk of a car and found later on. All right. As I looked into some of the details of this story, it appears that, we have a case where someone was in a vulnerable position, a young woman that may have been a foreigner, and she was coming to the United States, but she believed to be coming to join a certain religious group, an organization, that maybe she was under the impression that they were going to help her and assist her in creating her new life in the United States of America. Now, although we may be aboriginal to the Americas and we have been here, our parents have been here, our grandparents have been here, our great-grandparents have been here, but you got a lot of people who are foreign that are coming to this country, and they first or second generation. And the ones that are coming to this country, it may be intimidating to them because they come into a land where they may not speak the predominant language. They may not understand the culture. It's a big cultural shock to them. It's a lot of different ethnicities and nationalities. So it's a lot of things that they have to keep up with and try to learn. So while they're in that process of, trying to figure out what they're going to do here in the United States of America, they probably rely on a lot of people that are in this country from their own nationality and ethnicity that may have been here for a while. So, for example, I know out in Los Angeles, you have an area that's called Koreatown. So in this area, you have people that are predominantly of Korean nationality and so-called Asian descent. So I'm pretty sure when people that are coming from Korea and maybe they coming into the greater Los Angeles area, it would make sense for them to seek out this area because the businesses cater to them, people speak their language in that area, etc. But what a lot of those foreigners don't understand is that they have predators within their own ethnic national groups who seek to manipulate them, who seek to, kidnap them, who seek to traffic them, and who seek to use them for slave labor against their own will and all other kind of craziness. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you think about a lot of these, businesses that are in the so-called black community or any community. And they may have Arab businesses there or East Indian businesses or people that are from Asia and one of the various countries. Understand that a lot of those people are, they got slave labor in their own corporations and businesses, forcing people to work and pay off debt that they may have financed to come to this country or, whatever other kind of arrangement they have. So just keep that in mind. And you just never know who's around you, so I just wanted to kind of go into that as an introduction to this video to understand that when you're down bad and you're in a vulnerable state, you got predators out here who will try to manipulate you and take advantage of that. So you should just be careful and stay alert at all times. So what we're going to do right here is read from 11alive.com. And then I have an article right here that's going to, give us a little bit of background on this story. OK, so it says crime, House of Horrors, new details in case where a woman was starved, beaten, and put in trunk. Gwinnett County Police added charges of gang activity to the murder charges already leveled against 6 self-professed, quote, soldiers of Christ. And this article was published on September the 18th of 2023. Gwinnett County, Georgia. Police have added more charges against the 6 people already accused of beating, starving, and killing a woman in the basement of a Gwinnett County home. The suspects claimed they were a religious group according to police. But police are now calling their group a criminal street gang and have charged them with, quote, gang activity in addition to the murder charges. So far, the 6 murder suspects have not had a chance to tell their story publicly. But from what the police have said, they call themselves soldiers of Christ, quote. An expert in cults said all of this matches a pattern, quote. I hear about this constantly, said Rick Allen Ross, who follows cults worldwide and is the author of Cults Inside Out, end quote. There are often these kind of tragic circumstances. According to Gwinnett County Police, earlier this summer, a woman left her home in South Korea to join what she thought was a religious organization in Georgia in Gwinnett County, a half a world away. She ended up at a home in Gwinnett. Around August the 3rd, police said 5 people in their 20s and one who is 15, calling themselves Soldiers of Christ, imprisoned her in the basement, beat her, withheld food from her, and she died. When police discovered her body this week in the trunk of a car, they said she weighed 70 pounds. Ross said Friday that's how cults often work. Quote, people are constantly being drawn in, Ross said. No one intentionally joins a destructive cult. So there is this element of deception, a kind of bait and switch con, where people are drawn in by a name like Soldiers of Christ that sounds very positive, very mainstream, and then only when they become involved more deeply in the group is it revealed to them in increments what they're really getting involved with. Ross said he sees it again and again all over the world. There have been many deaths tied to destructive cults, starvation deaths, deaths due to extreme living conditions, beatings, medical neglect, he said. And I have no doubt that as this story unravels, we're going to learn more about this particular group and who led it. Police for now are saying they believe they've arrested everyone involved in the woman's mistreatment and death. All right. So the police have arrested 5 individuals, and they all look to be of Asian descent. And majority of these people were in their 20s. And they said that one person was 15 years old. All right. So let's kind of analyze this from the top. So we said we have the police, arrested some people who were claiming to be a religious group calling themselves Soldiers of Christ. But it looks like the police is going to enhance their charges with gang activity. So they got the gang activity enhancement charge, which is basically going to amplify whatever charges that they have in addition to the murder charges. So here is another indicator right here that you got to be careful on, what kind of associations or group or organizations you have. Because whether you call it in a religious group or a business group, etc., if certain type of activities are going on and these folks get to investigating, they'll up it to the gang enhancement. And these days, that term gang is so loose to where, if you're not careful and if it's some kind of criminal activity going on, even if it's 2 people, they'll call it gang activity. So, as we say, this story is still developing and, coming out. And we'll learn a little bit more what was going on. But, on the surface, it looks like they brought in an expert in cults. And based on some of the details that this person sees, this quote unquote Soldiers of Christ group appears to be a cult religious order. All right. And it says here that the woman, the young woman was from South Korea, and she came to the United States of America to join what she thought was a religious organization. So she was trying to better her life, live in better circumstances. She probably had, dreams and aspirations of a new life in the United States of America. And you all got to remember, too, that these foreigners, they view this place as a land of milk and honey. So that advertising and promotion is done to a lot of foreigners in these other countries. It's just we live in, mainland North America, but I'm pretty sure that they get marketed and advertised to a lot in these other countries about the United States of America being a place of prosperity and, this quote unquote promised land, just like they did in the, early 1500s. It's no different. So she came here, maybe a little bit naive and, was made a prey to this group. And it says when the police found this woman that she was in the trunk of a car and she had weighed 70 pounds. So they starved this woman to death, beat this woman. And who knows what the real reason was. Did she try to, reject them and try to escape? And they were kidnapping the woman, holding her against her will and beating her? Were they trying to, harvest the woman's energy, perhaps? What did these people really have going on? They were calling themselves Soldiers of Christ, a religious organization, but were they really a secret satanic organization? Was this possibly a satanic ritual abuse? We really don't know. So if you're interested in this, you can keep up with it. And those of us that are from Georgia or Atlanta, this will be on your your news broadcasting station. So you'll come across this information maybe a little quicker. But it just looks like a situation where once again a woman was down bad. She was coming to the United States maybe for a new life, and and thought she was joining a religious organization to help her get grounded, but she may have been deceived. All right. So who knows who these people really are, and who knows what they really are into. Maybe this will unfold as time goes on. But, in other words, man, you just got to always be alert. And in particular for these foreigners coming to this country, you all are coming to a place that you do not understand. This place has a different type of energy, and this is not your home. So you just got to be careful. I guess that's what I'll say to that. But it's plenty ghouls and goblins and ghosts out here, and just be very, very wise of who you associate with. But it's another Green Box Politics classic. Stay tuned. We out.